Hey there, folks. This is a little preamble, if I can stick this on the front of the video that you're about to see, where I do the archetypes for Donald Trump, Dark Larange. First time that I've ever done the archetypes for him. And this is also the first time I'm sharing my technique with the world. It's a unique technique that I came up with years ago now, probably about 5 or 6 years ago now. Came to me as a download, a Uranian download, ran to my laptop to get it down. And it's a very special technique that I use with many of my clients. I've performed this consultation hundreds of times for my clients over the years. But this is the first time that I've actually applied it to a political character, someone who's on the world stage. And this is the first time as well that I'm revealing this technique publicly. It uses the Caroline Myss archetype cards, but I have a specific 12 house technique. You'll see how it all works in the sheet that I fill out for my clients, but I've applied this to Duck Larange. And let me tell you, it is fascinating. Oh my goodness. But I want to apologize at the start. There's some sound issues because it's the first time I've done the 2 camera thing. I was getting feedback, had to play around, little jiggy repokery at the start. Bear with it. It is worth it. Watch it to the end. Oh, you will not believe. So I'll tack this on somehow and enjoy the video. All right, big love. Oh, and of course, don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell notification to support my channel. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Forgive the echo. As you can see, I'm doing a 2-camera thing. One's on my camera here, one's on my phone here. I have muted, but I'm still getting an echo. So I will just speak slower. Special one today, Archetypes of Trump. This is something I use in my consultations. Those of you who have had an archetypal consultation with me will know what this is. Caroline Myss decks. And though I'd normally put this into my own form, which is called the Archetypal Blueprint. And I've wanted to do this for a while. Turn the volume down. Right. Nightmare. So I want you to be able to see my hands. Anyway. In the Caroline Myss deck, you have different archetypes. 3 survival archetypes. Victim, saboteur, and prostitute. We all have these cards. Yeah, we all have these cards. But what's most interesting is you've got the different child archetypes. Sound. What I've done is I've muted my mic on my other one, so I shouldn't be getting the feedback, but I am. Anyway. Wounded. These are the child archetypes. Divine, eternal, the orphan, the magical child, the nature child, 2 of mine, the abandoned child, the invisible child. Oh, this sound is an issue, isn't it? You know what? I've got an idea. Put my microphone. Oh, 1 minute. Beep, beep. Yeah. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Beep. Let's see. Wonder if you can hear me now. Slight delay. Can you hear me? I'll put the mic in this one. Start up. Start up. That seems to have stopped it. Volume up. Start up. Start up. All right. Put the mic up here. Beep. Beep. Better. Start up. Anyway. Sorry about that. So what we see here, so we've got all these different child archetypes. And the one that I'm going to choose for, so we've got the wounded child, the divine child, the eternal child, the orphan, the child magical, the nature child, the abandoned child, and the invisible child. So I'm just going to just mute this one. But yeah, I think that's better. So the one I'm going to choose for Trump, for Duck L'Orange, is I'm going to choose for him the wounded child. Yeah. So we know major wounds. Yeah. Wounded child. So you can see that there. And then what I'm going to do is, so he's got the survival archetypes, which come in automatically as part of this consultation. And what I'm going to do is, so here, he's got these in here. We have to choose another 8 archetypes, 8 to make 12. I can hear myself echoing slightly, but not so much through this camera, but just with the mics that I've put on there, but that's helping to stop the feedback, stop the echo. And I'm going to just walk us through. So sorry about those little technical things, folks. First time I'm trying this. So here, actually, I wonder if I should just stop. No, no. Carry on, Hergy. Carry on. So I'm going to read you the different archetypes, and then I'm going to pick 8 for Trump. The ones that I feel that he is most like. There may be more, and then I'll whittle it down to 8. So we have the addict, the advocate, the angel, certainly not. He could be an advocate because he talks about advocating for his voters. We got the athlete, the artist, the avenger. Let's do the avenger because part of the shadow of that is resorting to violence in the name of a cause. Yeah, that's very... I think avenger is better than advocate, actually, to be honest. Avenger. Oh, the bully. Yeah, the bully. That definitely has to be one. There's even the beggar, I think, because he loves to beg for, for his donations. Got the braggart. This is one of mine. He also likes to brag. Companion, no. I don't think he's a good companion, do you? Damsel, destroyer, yes. Detective, dilettante, Don Juan. Oh, there is an element there of the Don Juan. We've got so just so you can see this, the engineer, I probably should hold it this way. Engineer, the exorcist, father. He is a father. Femme fatale, fool. He does like to play the fool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 already. Let's see. Gambler. He used to run casinos. You got the god. You got the goddess. I mean, he certainly seems himself in that way. Got the gossip. The guide. Healer. Definitely not. Hedonist, maybe. Hero, heroine. Hermit. No. Judge. He does like to judge. King. Let's put the king in place of the father. So he is, well, like him or lump him, there is a king-like sort of like, he likes to see himself as the king, that's for sure. You got the knight, the liberator, the lover, the martyr. No. Mediator, no. Mentor, sort of. He would be seen as a mentor, but Messiah, he may see himself in that way. Shadow attribute, light attribute, serving humanity with humanity and humility. Obviously, Trump is going to be more on the shadow side of these things. Exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed. Oh, we have to put that in. Midas, miser, that is him, but monk, nun, mother, no. Mystic, no. Networker. Ooh, networker is a strong one. With his social media. Pioneer, priest, prince, poet, queen, rebel. Oh my God, he really is one of them. Rescuer, no. Skeptic, Samaritan, scribe, seeker, servant, certainly not. Shapeshifter, maybe. Slave, no. The star, do have to put that one in. It's a bit of a star-like character, obviously, with his stuff on TV and all that stuff. Storyteller. He does like to tell stories. Put that in. Student, no. Teacher, yeah. Thief. Oh my God, absolutely. Trickster. Oh, yes. Vampire. Vampire. Absolutely. Virgin, no way. The voyeur, no. Visionary, I don't think he's bringing anything particularly new. And warrior, I think does have to be in there. I don't know if you can see that. Right. So we have a lot to whittle down. All right. This is tricky. Let's just start getting the little lines here. So let's see. The braggart, destroyer. Let's see if you can see this stuff for a minute. And why I'm doing this is just another tool of analysis. Yeah, to understand this character and just see where the archetypes turn up. You'll also see my selection process as well. Let's go further down. Let's go further down. There. All right. What are the definite ones? The definite ones that we have to pick. Because we're also looking at the light and the shadow. I would say trickster, definitely. Let's put that here. See if I can get this camera to change the angle just a little bit. Come down just a little bit. There we are. Trickster, absolutely. Thief, yes. Literally stole the election. Vampire, yeah, I think that can double out for the beggar. So remember, Trump is going to be in the shadow aspects of this. And a light attribute makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. Shadow attribute, depleting others for your psychic survival, chronic complaining and codependency. That's definitely Trump. The bully, of course, has to be there. Has to be there. He does have some, you know, here, the star has to be there because that's what he's dazzled a lot of people with. Reality TV star. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. He's definitely a reb. Trickster, thief, vampire, bully, the star. The gambler. He used to run casinos. So shadow attribute, relying on luck rather than hard work. Light attribute, willingness to follow intuition when others doubt you. So, I mean, he's certainly a gambler, quite literally he was. And many of his gambles have worked out for him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't want this just to be completely black and white negative. We do need to appreciate some of the qualities that he has. Otherwise, he wouldn't have so many people following him. Storyteller. I think that has to be in there. He's always talking, always trying to build a narrative. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then trickster, thief. Trickster and thief are an overlap. We know that he's a thief and a trickster, but he literally stole what he's tried to steal, an election. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more. Storyteller, gambler. Let's have a look here. I think the Avenger has to go in. Because remember, he said, I will be your vengeance, all this stuff. And we need to also get the perspective of people that vote for Dark L'Orange as well, what they also see him as. They know that he's a thief, a vampire, and a bully, but they like his gambling. They like his storytelling. They like that he says he's a Avenger. They like that he's a star. And then let's see, let's look at the King. Let's look at the King. Shadow attributes, excessive feelings of entitlement, rulership without restraint. Oh, light attributes, enlightened, benevolent leadership. Shadow attribute of the Messiah, exaggerated belief that you are the only means to which a cause can. I think he has to be the King. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He doesn't. Maybe he doesn't have that much spiritual connotations. Right, that's what I'm sticking with. Thief, vampire, bully, star, gambler, storyteller, Avenger, King. Right. Yes. I'm going to stick with that. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to mix in the survival archetypes. with all of this. And if my clients were doing this, I'll be, you know, they would obviously choose their archetypes in advance. Now, as you can see here, now I'm going to create 2 lines of 6. Two lines of 6. I'm sure there's a better way I can do this where I have a split screen and stuff like that. I've seen it on other channels, I just don't know how they do it. Okay, and then what I do is I then get my little, so you can see that, 12 tokens in here. And if I were with a client, what I do is I hover the token over the card and I just tell them or get them to tell me where to drop the token. Yeah. So let me just make sure that's on camera so you can actually see what I'm doing here. 1 minute. Everything is backwards on. There we go. There you can see the numbers. But this time, instead of my client using their intuition to tell me where to drop the token, I'm going to use my intuition. So let's go here, where I feel it should drop. And that will give us the 12 placements. See if you can see that. All right, I'm going to start. Token number 1. Actually, if I do it that way, token number 1. All right, let's see. I think it was here. I'm going to go with that. Token number 2. I think it was there. Token number 3. So I would do this for my clients, but they would be telling me where to drop the card, you see? Or the token. I'm already thinking it's there. Token number 4. Being guided there. Token number 5. Feel like 5 was there. Token number 6. Oh, I really feel like that was that one. Wonder if you're doing this along with me when you see this. Anyway, token number 7. No, it was that one. Token number 8. Oh, feel like it was right there. Token number 9. Yeah, there. Token number 10. Definitely there. Token number 11. This one. All right. And that becomes 12. Now I'm going to put them in numerological order. All right. So All right. I'm going to share more of this technique with you. The top line will represent what is well and publicly known about Duck Larange. Camera here. However, the lower line will talk more about his internal world, things that we don't know about him or things he may not even know about himself. Yeah. I also look to see who's next door to each other. So who's next door to each other, who's upstairs and downstairs from each other, and diagonal. All of those cards will have a relationship and will speak. Cards 1, 2, 7, and 8 will be foundational to Trump's character, or if this was my client, a client of mine, their character. 4 and 10, the 4 and 10 axis will always talk about the career. And cards 6 and 12 will somehow sum up what the whole reading is about. Yep. Now, what I do is I take my clients through this blueprint page that I created. Now, that I created. This came to me in a flash, by the way. This really was a gift from Uranus. Came to me years ago, and I remember I had to run to my laptop to quickly write it down before it all went. And it is like magic. It is like absolute magic, the way that these things work and the way the story builds. So let's see. So here, this is what I describe as the wheels of power. And just so you know, so today's date, I forgot to say today's date, 12th of February 2024, and it's currently 6:11. Gosh, I've got a client starting soon. I think I'm seeing Julie for a follow-up. All right, so I call this the wheels of power. Yeah, the wheels of power. I have this all stuff printed out. That's what I take my clients through. So just to explain, so the what's possible within the archetypal range, the how energizing or action archetypes support the outcome of what is possible, the blocks, the potential blocks to personal empowerment and how to navigate or neutralize them, the way you tend to relate to others, friends, colleagues, flatmates, family, and romance. Now bear in mind we're going to be talking about Trump here. The keys, the archetypes that when combined form the keys that unlock your full power and potential. Then you have the engine archetypes, the archetypes that have the power to change what you either need or want. Bridge archetypes, they facilitate between different archetypes to help their hand on a mission. And the shadow archetypes that can undermine or support career growth, relationships, or finances, but have powerful insights. Now, of course, we're talking about Duck Larange here, so this is a different tone. Here, you'll see these text here. This is kind of like where I categorize a person's character like a company. Yeah. So here we are. We're going to look at the first placement here. And normally, if I were live with a client, I'll get them to guess at the first 3 places. But of course, this is just a direct pull here on Duck Larange. So I call this the house number 1, this one. The ego, the self, the CEO of your archetypal company that leads the way. The key word here is I am, and it's relative to Aries. So let's see who's here. Who's running the show for Duck Larange? Which archetype? Now, obviously, I've selected for him, but I've still used my insight. My intuition. Let's see who's here. Ah, look at that. The gambler. Yeah, the gambler. This says a lot. What this shows is that Duck Larange doesn't have a very detailed strategy. Yeah, a lot of it is by the seat of the pants. Now, isn't that interesting? Because many people who worked for him in the first administration said this. Yeah, there was this element. So this shows he's a chancer. He's a gambler. It shows that he potentially didn't expect to win that election. Yeah, that first one where he defeated Hillary. Yeah. Now I'm going to read you the shadow attribute, or I'll read you the light attribute and the shadow, because with him I'll do it the other way around, because we are talking about such a shady character here. Light attribute, willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you. That's true. That's true of Duck L'Orange. Shadow attribute, relying on luck rather than hard work. Now, people have said that he will not read memos and stuff like that unless it can all fit on one side of A4. Yeah. So isn't that interesting? It's turned up in the first house position, which means that is the archetype that is running the show, the gambler. Yeah. The guy who used to have all of his casinos, remember, in the Ivana used to help run them. So look at that. He's a gambler. He's a chancer. All right, let's look at position number 2. So I call this, let's just write down here. No, actually, I don't need to write down because I'm going to use this sheet for someone else. Second house. I call this the real estate department. So this deals with possessions and life values, stored resources, potential earnings / savings, or financial blocks. The voice, food, and the practicalities of the body. The key word here is I have, and it's relative to the sign of Taurus. So let's see who's running the finances and assets. Now, this is very important, of course, because he's in court facing a lot of what? Charges, things to do with money, New York. So let's see. Oh! The vampire. Does that not make sense? The begging. Yeah, what does he do? He begs all the time. Oh my gosh, this is, you know what? I really wasn't sure how this was going to go, and sorry for the hesitations at the start, because it's the first time I've done it this way, and I've had to tinker with the sound to make it, you know, make it all right. But is that not pertinent? Yeah, the vampire in terms of his finances. So if we read the shadow attribute, well, light attribute, makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. Shadow attribute, yeah. Depleting others for your psychic survival, chronic complaining, and codependency. That is how Trump is with the people that he's always what? Begging, asking for money. Wow. Isn't that incredible? I love this technique. Again, it's something I pioneered, but really it was a gift from Uranus. So I know that might sound bonkers. It really was. I got it written down and it is like magic. Okay, let's go to the third house, which I call the PR department. So this is, you won't be able to see this, a bit too bleached out. Communication style and siblings, or friends that are like family. Neighbors, short travel, and weekends away. The key word here is I say, and it's relative to Gemini. So he's got truth social and he's got all of this different stuff. Let's see who is in the PR department. Oh, God. See? The wounded child. Wow. There we see, is that not Duck L'Orange? She's always speaking about being what? A victim. Oh, they're after me. They're trying to get me, you know, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Oh my gosh. Look, the light attribute is this. This is if he was working in the light. Awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children. Opens the learning path to forgiveness. We know he doesn't forgive anyone. It's shadow attribute. Blames all dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds. Resists moving on through forgiveness. Ah, is that not, what did he talk about? Revenge, this, that, and the other. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad I did this. And this is the first time I'm sharing this technique with you guys. I hope the sound is going to be all right on the other side. This is going to be shared with the Chalice of Light members first, I think. And then maybe I'll put it out next week because I want you guys feedback on this. Oh my God. All right. Fourth house. I'll call this when away from work, the home, growing up or current, history, emotions, nurturing or not, work from home. The key word here is I need, and it's relative to Cancer, the sign of Cancer. Now, this is also deals with the heart chakra, the fourth house I associate with the heart chakra. This also deals with childhood, growing up. It can be the mother or the father, but it's the mother in particular. And we know he had a very difficult relationship with his mother. So let's see who's here. Oh, the king. Now, isn't this interesting? Now, I find this particularly interesting as well because the fourth house also deals with real estate. Yeah? Did I actually say that there on the thingamajig? Home, growing up, current history, motion. Yeah, but anyway, the fourth house also deals with real estate. So we can see this is part of what he has built his kingship on. Also, in Vedic astrology, the fourth house is referred to as the seat of power. Yeah, so we can see that's the source of his power, his properties. Light attribute, enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge, which clearly Duck Larange didn't do. Shadow attributes, excessive feelings of entitlement, rulership without restraint. So here we can literally see the kingship, what he has built, what his empire has been built on. There, that's where he feels like king. This is where he feels secure, powerful in his properties. Wow. So if he loses them, my goodness, of course, that's going to be devastating for him. Let's see what's next. So the fifth house I call the events manager, creativity, romance, luck, education of all kinds, deals with children or our brain babies and or opportunities, good hunches and gambling and fun. The key word here is I lead, but it can also be I create. So this is associated with Leo, and I call this the lower heart chakra or the solar plexus. Yeah, let's have a look. See who's here. The thief. Oh my God, the thief. The fifth house is what we do for the love of it. The fifth house deals with passion, gambling, taking chances, having fun. This could quite literally be his casinos and stuff like that. But it's not only that. Remember, I said this also deals with the children as well. Children. So it shows that not only he, but his children are thieves. And they've delighted in their theft. The light attribute of the thief sheds light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. Shadow attribute. Stealing money, creative ideas, affection, or others' powers you think you lack. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Isn't that just Duck Larange and his children all over? Oh my goodness. And literally, the fifth house deals with gambling. People didn't get paid for those casinos that he ran and all of that kind of stuff. And obviously there would have been theft and all sorts going on. Wow. My God, I hope you guys are enjoying this. Anyway, sixth house. So this I call the HR department. So it deals with day job, career, practicalities, employees / colleagues, adversity from others, strategy, health, routines, details, nitpicking. The key word here is I work, and it's relative to Virgo. So let's see who's in the work house with Duck Larange. Interesting. The star. Look at that. So what that tells us is that where he does put in his graft, his effort. Now, I often refer to the sixth house as the salad bowl of life. But the sixth house is where we do our work, our graft, our day in, our day out. This is where we do our chores and where we do the useful and practical things that keep the whole machine running. Yeah. So what this shows is this star placement in the sixth house shows that Duck Larange Trump takes his stardom very seriously and actively works on this as a job, as it were. Like he is constantly making sure that he's in the headlines, that he's being seen. He understands that that is a big part of his work. It's his daily bread, his grind. the routines, the things that need to be done. And of course, with the star placement here, he has to maintain that. But at the same time, I don't think it's something that he resents either. It's something he sees as necessary. So the light attributes, the ability to shine in the spotlight. Yeah, he does. He is good at that. We need to give him that. Able to perform under pressure, inspiring others. Now, those that are not fans of Duck Larange, obviously they'll be like, oh my God, but he does inspire others. Look, he inspired people to what? Insurrection. Yeah. Shadow attributes. Listen to this. And this is one of my own cards. I wrote this up years ago. The black hole, needing fame or attention to feel valid. Envy of attention given to others. Is that not Duck Larange? Yeah. Absolutely. So here, guys, we have our first line. Let me see if I can move this back a little bit. There we go. So you get that. And let's turn this way. There we are. So we have our first line. So like I said, the top line is stuff that is well known. Yeah, well known about the person. The lower line is much more about the internal world. Let me see how I'm doing on time. All right, let's go to the lower line. So this is things that we may not know about Trump, or Trump may not even be fully aware of himself. So let's see what's here. Okay, I call this the seventh house, the contracts and due diligence department. Business, partnerships, and marriage. Important contracts, key relationships. The key word here is I balance, and it's relative to Libra. So let's see who's in Trump's seventh house. The bully. Wow. The bully. Doesn't that make sense? The seventh house is also anyone that's not us. It's how we relate to the outside world, how we communicate with the outside world. It's how we maintain our reputation, but it's also how we are in business and in relationships and in marriage. So we see here in his relationships, which you've seen, is that he's a bully. Yeah, he's a bully. All of his marriages, I'm sure that's been the case. Anyone that gets into a relationship with Duck Larange is going to feel bullied in some kind of way. Light attributes highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. Shadow attribute conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. Wow, that is Duck Larange. Yeah? So as they say, all bullies are cowards, really, inside, because they feel inferior. And when we see who's above the bully, it's the gambler. Yeah, the gambler. So this is part of the reason why Duck Larange gambles so much, probably because he doesn't have so much faith in himself, in his abilities to be organized. And if we look who is diagonal to the bully, you see it's the vampire. So again, with the vampire, depleting others for your psychic survival, chronic complaining, and codependency. So we see that is keyed in with the bully energy. Once we reveal what's in the eighth house, the eighth place, that will complete that quadrant, which speaks a lot about Trump's personality. Yeah, the foundations of it. Okay, number 8. So if we look here, I hope you're finding this interesting, guys. And of course, if you're watching this later on, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share and all of that stuff. Thank you. It really helps the channel. Okay, 8th house, tax and accounts department, other people's resources, family, in-laws, spouse's money, tax, inheritance, yeah, which could be money, inheritance, mental or physical, the darker side of sex, and the occult. The key word here is I use. It's got the energy of Scorpio. So let's see who's here. Juicy house, this one. Oh, look. The storyteller. Wow. Isn't that pertinent? Remember, the 8th house I refer to as the house of sex, death, and rock and roll. But remember, the 8th house is also other people's money. other people's money. This is part of his grift. Do you remember I said his gift is grift? He is an excellent storyteller when it comes to getting money out of people. Light attribute, the ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. Well, we know he's very colorful in that way. Shadow attribute, making up tales that harm others. Spot on, eh? Wow. All right, 9th house. The mission statement / philosophy / intellectual property, personal philosophy, religion, seeking knowledge, education, big travels. The key word here is I seek, and it's relative to Sagittarius. So let's see what his philosophy is. Yeah. The saboteur. The saboteur. Doesn't that just say all? His whole philosophy. The 9th house also deals with politics and stuff like that. Rhetoric, philosophy, ideas, beliefs. It's all about sabotage. Or he's trying to say, I was sabotaged. Yeah, both are true. Wow. Light attribute highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring to your life. Shadow attribute induces self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. Isn't that spot on with Duck Larange's philosophy? And in some ways, it can show that potentially both are true in the sense of, if we look, remember the lower line is about his internal world, but look who's above. Who's above the saboteur? It's the wounded child. What it shows is, it shows that when Duck Larange was growing up, his sense of belief in himself as a character was constantly undermined. Let's not forget as well, the 9th house is also the house of the father. So here this suggests the energies, the behaviors of the father really sabotaged a lot of maybe what was Trump's good potential via that wounding. Also as well with the wounded child, someone reminded me, I knew this before, but they reminded me in the comments, Trump actually saw his mother on the floor bleeding with a miscarriage. You can imagine, very traumatic for a child. And he was scolded. Apparently he was scolded while he was in his crib or whatever, because he was crying that his mother wasn't good, wasn't feeling well. So she was miscarrying and bleeding. So imagine how difficult it is. So it's talking here, a lot of this sabotage here is not only mother wounds, but also father wounds. And then when you look to see who's diagonal to the saboteur, we see the king. So this is talking about Trump's father, Fred. And what's the energy there? The vampire. So we see here by this 9th house placement, this philosophy that Trump has in terms of undermining and destroying. A lot of this is connected with his father and his wounded childhood. Do you see? Wow. I mean, maybe things that we've known, but I mean, the story is pretty clear, isn't it? Let's go to the 10th house. I call this promotion and recognition after working for it. Highest potential, ideal career, climbing to the crown of gold, public life. The key word here is I achieve, and it's relative to Capricorn. So let's see what's going on with Trump's career or his beliefs about his career. Let's have a look. I had a feeling. Victim. This is fascinating because when you think about it, what is the way? The 10th house is the public stage. How is it that he portrays himself in public life? He's always saying that he's what? The victim, yeah? That he's this and this and that, and that has happened to him. Very interesting. Light attribute prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. Shadow attribute, playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity. Inability to maintain personal boundaries. Now, this is actually relevant because, it is relevant, but the inability to maintain personal boundaries. But this also talks about professional boundaries as well, doesn't it? He's always overstepping the mark. They had to try and rein him in. Look how he stole the documents and all of that kind of stuff. The victim can also become the victor. So there is an energy here where I feel that Trump felt he was wounded, yeah? Wounded in his career as president. Yeah, he felt that he was victimized and that he belongs there. What this also shows is that if he wins again, he's obviously going to be ruthless. Now let's look and see who's diagonal to the victim. We have the wounded child and we have the thief. So he's going to do his best in order to win again. He's going to do his best to steal it. Yeah. Wow. My goodness. All right. 11th house. I call this the outreach department, the network, the house of gains, public finance, the wider world, community, social media, charity, philanthropy, giving back. The key word here is I share, and it's relative to Aquarius. So let's see who he's got here. What's he sharing? Well, we know a lot of it is a pile of BS, but let's just see. This also deals with friends, powerful friends and influences. This could also speak about allies he has. Let's have a look. Ah, the Avenger. Oh my goodness. That's what he said, didn't he, on his Truth Social, his social media. The 11th house is our social media, our contacts, the people that we're in touch with, powerful friends and influences. So here the light attribute is desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. That is actually how his voters view Trump. That's how, and that's what he's saying. Yeah. Shadow attribute, resorting to violence in the name of a cause. Yeah. Or insurrection with, look, the fact it's fallen into the 11th house. The 11th house deals with the masses. Mass communication, big messages that you put in your social network. That is just absolutely perfect, isn't it? My goodness. All right, last one. This is uncanny. It's always like this when I do it for my clients, but to be doing this for like Duck L'Orange and have it anyway. 12th house, I call this the basement, the subconscious, the taboo, bondage yet limitless, the deepest shadow but can also be the highest light, the collective unconscious, karmic lessons, dreams, all is one is in the all, the dragons. The key word here is I am all and nothing, and it's relative to Pisces. So let's take a look here. You've probably worked it out if you could remember all the archetypes. Let's have a look. Ah, the prostitute. Yeah, the prostitute. The 12th house is a hidden house. It's known as a hidden house. It deals with the shadow side. It deals with prisons, hospitals, loss, endings. But it's also endings and beginnings, beginnings and endings. But I also call the 12th house the land of far, far away. It deals with foreign countries. It deals with pilgrimage. It deals with adventure. It deals with travel. Yeah. Over long distances normally means to cover an ocean. Yeah. That's how I interpret the 12th house. It also deals with indirect money. I often refer to the 12th house as the house of royalties because that's where indirect income can come from. Because the 12th house isn't just loss, it can also deal with great gains. Why? Because we need to remember, before aviation and mass transport by vehicles, we need to remember throughout human history, still to this day, how is the majority of goods delivered around the world? Yeah, by boat. Rivers, lakes sometimes, but the sea, oceans, even to this day, what do we call it when we get delivery coming to us? We call it shipping. So here, this can show, so if we read with the light attribute is accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. Now we know Trump, Duck L'Orange is not doing that. Shadow attribute places material considerations and security above self-empowerment. But with Duck L'Orange, we can actually scale this up to the level of America itself. Of course, the shadow of the prostitute is what? Selling out. yeah, or selling to the highest bidder, you know, which any prostitute does, really. I often refer to this card as the working girl as well, but when I'm talking with ordinary people, this can also show where you can make money. Here, this clearly indicates that a big part of Trump's money, especially while president, was overseas. This deals with the contracts and stuff that he did overseas. This is the potentially the compromat, the way that he was compromised. The 12th house also deals with bed pleasures, secrets, espionage. 8th house is espionage as well, can also deal with scandals. It's very Neptunian. It is what is hidden. This could also deal with the trafficking of people, you know, stuff like that. I'm thinking of like Trump's beauty pageants, because remember I said the last two cards will somehow sum up what the whole reading is about. And look here. Who's above the prostitute? It is the star. The star. Which means really that Duc L'Orange is prepared to prostitute himself and his whole nation for fame. Fame and attention. I'll read the shadow again. The black hole, needing fame or attention to feel valid, envy of attention given to others. And then the upside was the ability to shine in the spotlight, able to perform under pressure, inspiring others. So the way I see this is that really, remember I said that Duc L'Orange is a performing monkey. He's like a little gold monkey, yeah? One of those little macaques, you know, banging his little tambourine. So this shows that he is a star, but essentially his values are totally compromised and bought out. Yeah, totally bought out, sold out. Foreign interests. He's sold himself out to foreign interests in order to be what? The star, the leader, the president. Of course, the star is relative to the sun, and the sun deals with leadership of all kinds. But this is about the global stage. And here, if we look, who's next to the star? It's the thief. Who's next to the prostitute? It's the avenger. The thief and the prostitute are diagonal to each other. So we see really this is one of kleptomania, of thieving of extraordinary proportions. Compromise in a way by international interests and backhanders in order to maintain his day job. Remember, this was in the 6th house, the day job of being the star. Yeah. So I think really, I wasn't expecting it to like come out as well as it has, but I think that's really quite extraordinary how that has shown up. And remember, I said the last two cards, even with all my clients, and I've done this consultation hundreds of times for clients, it is always the same. It will sum up what the whole reading is about. He has compromised himself. He has compromised his nation to foreign interests for money in order to maintain his position as a star. We already know that he's received foreign money from Russia and China and goodness knows who else. That's on the record, yeah? That's already on the record. But I just think that this consultation here, this little demonstration to you of this technique that I developed, unique to me, no one else does this, it's completely original. First time I'm sharing it though. Doesn't that just lay absolutely everything bare? Let me know your thoughts, folks, what you think about that. Again, apologies for some of those sound issues and mumbling around. First time I've done it. I think I've got rid of the echo now. And yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. So those of my Chalice of Light membership, you'll get this first, and then I'll release this maybe later in the week. I don't know, maybe Wednesday or something. I'll have a think, but I'll love to know your thoughts. And of course, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share to support this channel. It is much appreciated. I will leave it there for now. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next show. All right, big love. I hope you enjoyed that. Fascinating, wasn't it? All right, bye for now.